Well, we are back after a week of kind of missing the daily mission. Hope your Easter week was a good one. Got time to spend with family and friends, and certainly engage with some greater intentionality the cross of Christ. So this is the daily mission for April the 12th, and a couple of quotes that have kind of been rolling around inside of me recently. I once heard someone say that the world is shaped and moved by the people who show up. And then someone else also once said, "Go, I am sending you out like lambs among wolves." Now, I don't know who said that first one about the world being shaped and moved, but the second quote there is from Jesus. And this conversation began in a recent discussion I was having, and was struck by how reluctant we can be to actually go, even when ideas are presented and opportunity seems obvious. There are times that we simply don't want to move. Now, we acknowledge that God is asking us to move, but we just aren't going to budge. Now, for a long time, the church has, by and large, taken a stance of separatism. That we would see the world and point out the things that are wrong with it. Everything from bad movies to bad music, bad products, all things that didn't lift up the name of Jesus. And this happens even now sometimes in this current day and age. If a pastor or a church leader will stand up and rail against a popular movie, if it doesn't lift up the name of Christ, if it represents a false gospel. Just a sidebar, I don't go to movies to find Jesus. I go for dominantly entertainment. So when a movie like, say, Avatar mixes a theology of plant life being kind of a godlike being, I don't get all up in an uproar about it. I didn't go to the theater to find Jesus out of that particular movie. Now, interestingly enough, the truth about Jesus did show up in some unexpected ways and in some unexpected places, but I didn't go to that film looking for it. Now, back to this issue of showing up. If, when we are presented with an opportunity to engage our community, and we ultimately decide that it isn't for us, or we're just going to forego that opportunity, we have now sidestepped an invitation from God, and the community gets shaped without us being at the table. Now, the truth is that we cannot respond to every opportunity that's out there. A church has to be very diligent in deciding what they're going to run down and what they're going to engage and what they're going to let go. But if an opportunity presents itself to help a group of people, and we decide that we don't have the time, the money, the availability, or we just simply are not that interested in stepping into that moment, that group of people may end up getting help from someone other than us. Now, it may be a church group, but it may not be a church group. And their lives get shaped and changed by that other group, the group that decided to step in. And we just lost our opportunity to stamp Jesus into that little experience. So back to what Jesus says. He tells us to go. And in the very same breath, he tells us that it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. He says, like sheep before wolves. Now that means it's going to get hard, it's probably going to be bloody, and it's going to cost us a greater sacrifice than we had originally thought. In the verses just before this, he sends them into the towns that he's headed to. This is out of Luke chapter 10. And he's sending out a group of people and pushing them to the cities that he's going to be arriving in sometime soon. They are doing the preparation for his arrival, the groundwork for his coming. I know that God is already everywhere and it becomes a bit of a metaphor, but here, in fact, may be a larger point. What if the big part of the Great Commission was simply our willingness to get up and go? Our willingness to say, I will step into that opportunity, that place where Christ is going to show up. To let God work on the hearts and minds of others that don't yet know him. What if our responsibility is to live the life of Christ simply by showing up? To respond well to the things that he's prompted and to do it well. What if that's the dominant thing that we're supposed to do in this life? Well, I hope that you're able to take some of these ideas, these thoughts with you throughout the week, and understand that you are on mission on a daily basis, where you are, the places that you work, the neighborhoods that you live in. God bless.